SI আৰু Indian Women Network Assam chapter presents India at 100 Women-led Development.
Presented by Topsem Cement, मजबूती का भरोसा हमेशा. Powered by Nestle Serico. Co-powered by Jetta Farm, देश का culture, agriculture. Banking partner, State Bank of India, the banker to every Indian. Education partner, Assam Downtown University. Health partner, Azile Hospital, Litosif, Hell Liver Syrup. जो पिएगा वो जिएगा. In association with NRL, Oil India, Ministry of Women and Child Development, Government of India. Print partner, the Assam Tribune. Radio partner, Gupshup 94.3 FM. Proud to be local.
Start today and excel tomorrow. We have a wonderful panel discussion now to be moderated by Dr. Vasavi Acharya, who's the MD of Tender Petals. But before I invite our moderator, I'd like to introduce our panelists here for all of you. His vision for the university is to constantly scale up skills with a focus on research and technological driven delivery so that it constantly features among the premier universities in the country. The 50-acre eco-friendly campus has churned out more than 8,000 successful students since its inception and adapts constantly to cater to the diverse needs of the students. A very warm welcome to you. It's a pleasure. Please put your hands together for Mr. Jyotishman Datta. Our next panelist for this particular discussion will be Mr. Kaushik Barua. May I request Mr. Kaushik Barua to kindly come on stage, please. He is the co-founder of Linchpin India Global Reach Guwahati and partner in Mocha Guwahati. Kaushik brought study abroad consulting to Northeast India in the year 2006. In 2014, he ventured into the area of hospitality and co-curated a restaurant which is considered one of the most loved in Guwahati called the Mocha. Don't we know it? A very warm welcome to you. Thank you for coming here today. Third panelist for today is Dr. Navita Mahajan, academic and independent researcher. May I request you, ma'am, to kindly come onto the dais and take your seat. Dr. Navita Mahajan has been passionately working in developmental activities in value-based leadership, teacher education, and peace and security processes through Track 2 diplomacy. She has worked in the areas of partition of South Asia and role of education and peace building through Track 2. It's my honor to welcome you, ma'am. May I now invite Dr. Vasavi Acharya, who is going to be moderating this session. She is the founder and chairperson of Early Childhood Development Forum, founder and managing director of Tender Petals Preschools and IIFPL. If I may talk about Dr. Vasavi Acharya, she is an early childhood educationist, social entrepreneur, author, trainer, mentor, and multi-awardee. It's my pleasure to introduce and hand over the session to you, ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
Hello, everyone. A very, very good afternoon. And this is a post-lunch session. So we'll try to wake all of you up with our careeristic session that we have for today for the students, for the young girls, for everybody who's present here. So career readiness is a critical part of student education and also the escalation process. Students need to be thinking about their career right from the start. In the early, the prep should be quite early. And today's panel session is on this: start today, excel tomorrow. So we'll touch upon various topics like the core competencies students should develop to make career decisions, to create new opportunities, and also to meet career challenges that come up. And we would also talk about the 21st century skills, which are so essential. And we have a wonderful session of panel of experts who have been specializing in these aspects. And without much ado, let me ask my first question. So we have two rounds. One is a common question round for everyone, and we have about 2 minutes to answer that. And then we have an individual question round. So moving on to the common question round. My question is to Mr. Kaushik. India has progressed in the indicators of literacy and growth of schools and colleges in the field of education. What do we need to do to prepare student for workforce at 100?
Thanks, Dr. Vasavi. It's a very tough question to answer because I think the realities that people of our age grew up in will not apply anymore. I think I pretty much went through a my education without a plan. I think whatever I am doing today is by chance. But in the future, that in the next 25 years that we're discussing, the rapidly changing technology would make it impossible for people to succeed by chance. I think career planning is going to be essentially key to be successful, to be employable, to be entrepreneurial. And it's tough compared to what we went through, but it is a reality. Because today, if you look at artificial intelligence, if you don't know anything about blockchain, if you don't know anything about things that are going to be the buzzword about coding, I think it's going to be very difficult for people to manage careers. I personally think, this is my personal view. Saying that, it doesn't mean that people who are in non-STEM programs do not have a choice, but I think you will have to align yourself with the changing realities to be employable. And for example, I mean, emotional intelligence cannot be replicated by a machine, hopefully, ever. But we don't know about that. But I think these are the areas. Creativity, for example, is never going to go out of fashion. I think people, you might find AIs doing designs top-notch, but I think creativity is something that will never go out of style. I think that's one individuality of a human being that will stand out always. I think this is a discussion which is going to be progressing with, it's a work in progress. I think we also don't know the complete the ramifications of all this artificial intelligence coming into our system. But I think as a young student or a young parent, I would definitely relook at how I looked at my career vis-a-vis the previous generation. Because if you don't plan now, you're going to be in trouble. That's my take.
Thank you for your insight, Dr. Navita. Good afternoon.
I know all of you are very sleepy and you would like a cup of chai, but I believe that's going to wait for a while. And you'll have to do with all three of us at the panel. So thank you so much for the question. You know, I'm going to pose this question to the audience and to all of us. When we say how to prepare the student for India at 100, what are you talking about? Are you talking about a child who will be actually currently maybe first kindergarten stage for next 25 years? That's the person who's going to come out in the workforce. Will that person be smart enough to earn money? Will that person be beyond global borders and will be a global citizen? Are we talking about the workforce as in just the blue collar? I mean, what are we talking about? So this is the question I wanted to kind of throw back to the audience so that we have some kind of reference point regarding what India at 100 when we're talking about education per se. I personally, my gut is that India at 75, we were like, ho raha hai, kar rahe hai, chal raha hai. A lot of CI initiatives, a lot of civil society initiatives were there. But there was not a revolution, it had not caught up with the whole nation. I'm just hoping from bottom of my heart that India at 100 is caught up with the whole nation as a revolution. And if it is caught up by whole nation, then only can we make that drastic change which we are talking about. So that is my take to India at 100.
Very good afternoon. See, actually, I don't have a lot to say, but I think it's something that we all also can sit and introspect. What does the future looks like to you? Do you think it's going to be a digital future or an analog future? More or less a digital future. So do you stand a chance without having your digital skills perfected? We competed with humans for a job. The future generation will compete with an AI for a job. So that is the future. We like it, we don't like it. I don't think there is a choice. There's another thing, like 40 years ago, the complaint was there were 3 career choices, engineering, medical and something. Wasn't life simple? Now we have how many career choices? Thousands and thousands of them. There is nothing even called an IT job. In IT jobs, there are hundreds of permutation combinations. So when you have 100 choices, you also have 100 confusions. So then it's very, very essential for today's generation and the future generation to be very clear about what you are doing. Once you set out on a path, a career path, and you realize after 5-6 years this is not cut out for you, you again kind of have to redo your 5 years. 10 years, 20 years ago, most companies had generalists. Now every company wants a specialist. Specialization takes more time. And so if you are not very clear with what you want to do, you will end up wasting maybe a year, 5 years, depending on the kind of job you are looking for. So basic takeaway is digital is the future. Nothing can be done about it. More clarity, more counseling has to be there in the today's students and future students. Otherwise, it's going to be more a meandering career and a lot of waste of time.
Thank you. And yeah, so we cannot hand down, a booklet for children or the students that this is the career prospects that are there for you now. But then they have to figure it out, and in order for them to figure it out, they need to be equipped, and that is very important. So moving on to my next question, and this is the second round where we have individual questions for our panelists. Dr. Navita, you have 7 minutes to answer this. 19th century teaching pedagogies, yeah, we are still stuck to those. 20th century syllabus, 21st century students, and 21st century unseen set of currently non-existent careers. So your comment on this.
I've already mentioned that we will be the largest, youngest nation. We already are, but our workforce would also be the largest in coming times, out of which 28.4%, and I repeat, 28.4% are going to be women. Women are breaking glass ceilings again. This is an IWN, I don't need to talk about that. But when we are looking at a larger perspective of 60% of world's population, working population of the world is going to be from India. 28% of it is going to be women. So these are the enablers we are talking about. And how are we going to educate this? How are we going to educate these people who are going to inherit this world from us in next 24 years? Then infrastructure. I mean, I've come to Guwahati after 2018. The drive from airport to this place is a changed drive. It's totally changed. Okay, it's taken me 1 hour, but it's a changed place. So we are having lots of changes happening everywhere. And of course, we have this whole national logistic policy which is being put in, how to make sure things are reaching where they have to, more efficiently, more cost effectively, in lesser time. That's the world we are going to, that's the world the next generation is going to take from us. How do we educate them? How do we prepare them? That's the question which I want to address. Do I have answers? Not really. Can we really plan it to the hilt? Not really. As Kaushik mentioned, ki kuch karte hai and then we change our mind and then something else happens. Then our dad calls us home and something else happens. Then mama asks us to go somewhere and then something else happens to our career. But yeah, there are certain things happening around us, and one of them, I'm sure my August gathering already knows about it, but if you don't, then I'm going to share this. There's a report prepared by the World Economic Forum, which is in collaboration with UNICEF and UVA, and not via UVA, this is the other UVA. And they're talking about bringing education revolution, like Industrial Revolution 4.0. They're talking about Education Revolution 4.0. And I thought that was brilliant. I mean, I don't need to reinvent the wheel at all. There are people who have done it. They have collaborated with 40 organizations of the Indian government. They are building a beautiful synergy between the partnerships, community, teachers, educators, and most importantly, as both my friends talked about, people in IT. So when we are talking about IT, AI, creativity, so on and so forth, and chatbots, which nowadays we are using it because we have no choice. We have to learn it. We may ask our youngsters at home to tell us, isko kaise karna hai, so on and so forth. But next 25 years, something we have to do. We owe it to our nation. This is our satyagraha. This is the change we want to bring. We weren't there when partition happened. But yeah, we can make a difference now. Not a voluntary. Yeah, no, this makes a difference. I can do something. Lastly, digitization. I don't need to say anything about it. I'm sure all of you are quite aware. But yeah, lot of AI, lot of ML also. ML, machine learning, lots of it. Lots of it at all the levels. So my takeaway would be to work on these three aspects and connect them to all the growth enablers which I mentioned initially, the 5 growth enablers. This is how we will roll it backwards. This is my thought, open to suggestions and questions. But lots of ownership, if we are 100 of us sitting here, 70% should go out and volunteer. 70% should have that pain. I need to do this for my country. You just cannot keep sitting and XYZ is going to do it. It's not going to happen. At YI, all of us rolled up our sleeves and we were at there. And I remember I had a very simple mantra. If I can make a difference at 1 arm distance, that's enough. So which means all of us, 1 arm, 1 person, 1 arm. That's enough to begin with. But take ownership of India at 100. That's what I want to say.
How to adopt digital technology in education to improve skills, and how important do you think is digitalization in education per se? We've been touching, ma'am has already talked about it. So from here, yes, over to you.
Well, when you talk about digital or digitization, it's very vast. So I'm going to oversimplify a few things just for the sake of this discussion. One is digital education, where you study through a digital medium. That is Corona, more or less all of us has experienced. Second point is digitization of education. I am studying a very conventional program. It can be psychology, it can be medicine. What digital tools I am using to help me study, which is very much possible. Instead of studying, say, anatomy from a book, why can't I study it from an AI app or a virtual reality software, which exists today? Will that make learning easier? That's it. So this is 2 aspects. Now I'll come back to academic programs. I would like to see academic programs be in 2 aspects. One is conventional academic programs, which have a core domain knowledge based. Today's technology, I'm basing my answer on today's technology. 10 years down the line, if roads have to be built, would you need a civil engineer? 20 years down the line, even if you fall sick, will you need a doctor? Today as we stand, we don't see these jobs being replaced by AI or any other platform, correct? So when you're studying some programs, that future job is set for you. In that, learning medicine, learning maybe pharmacy, there would be digital tools used to make life easier for the student and eventually the patient also. Today when you go say to a hospital, you had these bulky records. Now the records have become a smart card. So if digital evolution is happening in every aspect, it is going to also impact education. Similarly, digital education. There is absolutely no choice for a country which is as cost conscious and resource starved as us in terms of this. That is a practical solution. We have IGNOU, which is I think the most famous open university. Government of India is very soon launching a digital university as well with the same agenda in mind. Yes, you go log online classes would be there. A lot of platforms are already functional. Take your classes, take your credits, and you can study maybe an engineering program, maybe an AI program, maybe a lot of other programs at a fraction of the cost. Will it replace all education? I doubt, but it can replace a lot of education which today's terms in many ways are redundant to study in a classroom. Why am I saying that? Why am I saying classrooms will be redundant? Because you will have the classroom to teach something else where it is not redundant. Can you teach perhaps maybe chemistry to some extent? You need a lab. You can't replace that today overnight. We need that infrastructure to teach subjects that cannot be taught digitally. It's a very basic practical solution which I think the government is also coming up with. There's another evolution happening on the entire digital infrastructure of this country. If I ask you today, where is your class 10 mark sheet? How many of you know exactly where is it? DigiLocker. Is it verified? Government of India is also coming up with a new system now. I think they're linking it with Aadhaar. As and when you pass out from a government institute, immediately your certificate will be uploaded. So I don't need to even verify whether you are genuinely a graduate or genuinely a PhD. It is for all to see. Theoretically, no. It's coming up in a few months' time. This is the new platform that they're working in. So what happens? We are talking about lifelong learning. So today I passed out from graduation in ABC subject. I want to carry on learning, maybe from an open source or maybe from a physical institute. as I carry on learning, I keep on adding my credits or my skills to it. So anytime I go to an interview, I don't need to send the CV. I just need to send my ABC ID. My entire biodata with what skills I have is ready for you. That is a huge digital step that the government is planning on. I believe should be launched in maybe 6 months to 1 year time. So these are great things that can be done with digital infrastructure, which I really commend the government that they're working on to make life easier for everybody. Now, half the time, our queries I have a person in my university, you know what his job is? He only takes calls from companies to say if your certificate is genuine. Half the time, that's the job he takes. Are these students your genuine students or not? So these are very redundant things that are happening that can be completely wiped out. Now the question is, a bigger question everyone asks. How about the future? Should we worry about it? Or should we be happy about it? What is my future? A lot of students asked. I wanted to be a content writer. I wanted to be X. I wanted to be Y. That also is going to app. I believe you know there's a first AI social influencers already come along. Absolutely, absolutely. So social influencers may not be human after 5 years because they're influencing a trend and a style. Why do you need a human for it? You need the person who has to be stylish, not the human. So these are the very controversial issues in a way, but honestly I don't have the answer going forward. But digital skills need to be there for jobs which are domain based. For digital jobs, you have to be very, very careful with what's coming up. Or a matter of fact, no one can really tell you what's coming up in the next 5 to 10 years.
Excellent. So, technology is part of our lives, and after the pandemic more so. Moving on to Mr. Kaushik, my question to you is, what is the role, whose role is counseling the students? We were never counseled per se, you know, my mother never counseled me, nor did my school counsel me. We figure out our own life, and we figured it out, like, I figured it out quite late, in fact, you know, I did certain things quite late. So, do you think it's the parent, the school, or the professional who should be counseling the students? And do you think the counselors who are available, are they really good at the job? Are they really sincere? Are they equipped to counsel our students in the right direction? So that is one thing, and over to you and your next 7 minutes.
Do you question the counselor, career counselor you go to? What kind of experience, what kind of certification do you have? Because you're going to talk about your entire career, your entire life to that person. And is that person equipped to even answer this question to you? Have you ever thought about this? I wish you do, because I think you need to. Because I think career counseling is a very serious job, and that needs constant updation, like the doctors actually. Because, I'll talk from my experience of study abroad. We have counselors who, I think, get updated on a weekly basis from universities on courses coming through, who give annual tests to know that they're still certified by that certification body, and they keep on traveling to this university to see, because then only they're in a position to tell a student what studying abroad is all about. How do you expect somebody, and it's not because of probably it's a lack of opportunities. You have schools and colleges have counselors who have no idea what they're talking about to a student. I'm sorry, they have no idea at all, and they're going to advise that young student that no, I think instead of studying aeronautical engineering, you should do software engineering. Madam, what do you take in your class 12? Arts. After graduation, arts. Post-graduation, arts. And you're going to advise a kid about software engineering vis-a-vis aeronautical engineering? There's a mismatch here, okay? Because I think in the years to come, we are talking about getting kids prepared to face the challenges of tomorrow. You need to play to your strengths, and also the opportunities that are opening up are not just academic terms. They are serious opportunities where one small decision about one particular program that you do this year might change your entire life. I meet so many doctors who come to me and wanted to become an artist. And I meet so many artists who wanted to become an engineer. And this complete mismatch. This future cannot work like that. And somehow the reasons could have been different. Parental pressure, X, Y, Z. But I think the counselor is a serious part of the whole relationship now, in some form or the other. I think the counselor you should speak to is somebody who is certified, who has done some kind of program, who has been certified recently, has the knowledge to be able to guide you about your entire life. And it's not just one headache or a stomach ache we're talking about. I think as a young student or a young parent, this is something that you should seriously think about, because this could change your entire life. But for that change to happen, just make sure that person across the table is qualified and equipped to give you the information.
We'll just request our panelists to kindly remain on stage. Can you remain on stage, please? We'd like to felicitate you. Thank you.
CII আৰু Indian Women Network Assam chapter presents India at 100 Women-led Development.
Presented by Tops and Cement, मजबूती का भरोसा हमेशा. Powered by Nestle Serico, co-powered by Jetta Farm, देश का culture, agriculture. Banking partner, State Bank of India, the banker to every Indian. Education partner, Assam Downtown University. Health partner, Azile Hospital, Litosif, Hell Liver Syrup. जो पिएगा वो जिएगा. In association with NRL, Oil India, Ministry of Women and Child Development, Government of India. Print partner, the Assam Tribune. Radio partner, Gupshup 94.3 FM, proud to be local.